Peterbot and Pollo are easily the favorites to win FNCS this season. Even other top tier pros are saying so. Everyone knows they are two of the best fighters in the entire world, and after getting second place during their first FNCS together, obviously this duo was good. But what is it that has Acorn and Cold, the winners of last season, almost by 200 points, saying Peter and Pollo will win? Well, it's a lot of things, but mainly their drop spot. This chapter we saw the introduction of medallions, and instead of giving you HP like last season, this time there's 4 of them that give you a unique ability. Now most of them are pretty decent, but nothing too crazy, except for one in particular, the Cerberus Medallion. This one is located at Grim Gates, and it grants the player an infinite amount of dashes. So yeah, obviously this is broken, and of course Peter and Pollo, knowing this, decided to claim the drop this season. With that being said though, they weren't alone. In fact, it was actually Acorn and Cold who decided to drop there as well. After both teams ended up qualifying in the first Duo Cash Cup finals, we were about to get a taste of what the off-spawn fights would look like. But nobody expected this to happen.
On me? 100 on 1. What up, Acorn, buddy? What are you doing? What are you doing? That, kill one. 52. Oh, well that sucks. You're really good mechanics, but guess what? You don't have good drops. You don't. Got it. 10. Wait. What are you doing? 3-0. You guys suck.
Yep, that's right. They were able to work the reigning FNCS champions so much that after only 3 games, they would decide to leave the most broken POI we've possibly ever seen for the rest of that season. But that wasn't it. Not only were they able to alpha up Grim Gates, they went on to win the Cash Cup finals. And that's when Acorn would finally tweet this, and it's looking very likely that it will become true. However, they were only just getting started, and that very next week, they'd make history. During the next Duo Cash Cup, they would dominate the opens, getting 6 separate wins, with 5 of them having over 20 kills, which meant they just casually broke the world record for points in a Duo Cash Cup, getting 762, over 300 more than second place. Now this was already insane, but in the finals, they would really shine. We just went over how they claimed Grim Gates for themselves, and in the finals, nobody dared to contest them. So it was now where we would really get the opportunity to see what they could do.
It's a duo. I can't help.
No. I'm getting it. Nice.
He's done here.
That's no!
Nice.
Peter and Pollo were on a 5-game winning streak in finals, 9 if you count opens. At this point, everyone was on the edge of their seats to see if they could pull off the impossible and get a perfect match history. By the way, if you're enjoying the video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe because only around 6% of you watching actually are, so double check. But unfortunately, that wouldn't happen when 3 separate teams decided to drop on them, griefing their perfect run. Nonetheless, this was still by far the world record in finals. But what exactly is it that makes them so good? Obviously, this medallion helps out a lot, however, it's definitely not the only factor here. So let's take more of a deep dive into how they're so good at fighting. Both these players mastered the fundamentals of fighting, and this was made clear last season when Pollo and Peterbot would drop multiple 30+ kill wins in the Solo Victory Cup. You also might be surprised to see some of the tricks they use. In their first game of the Duo Cash Cup, they were able to drop a 36 kill win, and they make it look much more simpler than you'd think. Off spawn, they already mastered their drop and the loot route after landing, resulting in them easily wiping out the team off spawn. In their first mid-game fight, we would already see something they do a lot. While Peter starts pushing the duo, their sole focus is on him, and this gives Pollo the perfect opportunity to get some damage in. Because of this, the other team is focused on Pollo, giving Peter the perfect opportunity to use his dashes to get an angle behind them, even though he's not fully HP. This team is quite bad though, so after one of the opponents leaves their teammates, it's a pretty easy fight. Now looking back at it, those were bad players, but it's the fundamentals that are important. Also, since this is the first game, they're very comfortable going around and taking 1v2s. In fact, they're so confident in each of their abilities that they split up in order to get more eliminations. But how are they so good at 1v2ing? Well, once again, it boils down to the fundamentals. In this clip here, we can see Peter approach a bad duo in a bush, but instead of going straight at them, he approaches them from a safe angle. Most importantly though, he waits for them to make a mistake. Here, it's the player just blindly running at him. And after getting that large amount of damage done, make sure to fight the player first before he fights his teammate. This just makes his job much easier. But in order to get these kills, there's a smart and simple trick they use. Whenever they finish a fight and are looking for players, they just use their fizz juice, then proceed to build extremely high up in the air in order to find their next kill. And since you're on that fizz juice, you won't take any fall damage. So if you're keying and never thought of this, there you go. Now that was game 1 where the players are much worse, so how can they still drop 20 bombs while in high elo games? Also, this doesn't matter at all, but I wanted to show this all spawn clip from them 50-50ing this chest since they all scatter like little ants. Back to something more useful, if you take a look at their games, every single time they're done at Grim Gates, they push the underworld in order to get that siphon medallion. And when I say every game, I mean it. The only times they didn't go there was game 2 when they both died off spawn, and game 7 where Pollo would go down so Peter needed to reboot him. This all helps us understand a little bit more how they key, but how do they actually fight against good players? It's always important to start off a fight getting some initial damage so you have the advantage. Yet Peter here wasn't able to do this. Their opponents Hounded Aiden, who are both multi-FNCS Grand finalists, decide to box up after getting shot at. However, Peter, having good game knowledge, noticed that there's a zipline nearby, so he uses this in order to break the builds and get that initial damage. After dealing and taking more damage, he is forced back to heal up. But where's Pollo in this? Right where he needs to be, on the other side of the fight. Since he's healthy, Pollo can pressure them while Peter heals in order to keep the other team weak. From here, they pressure each side, creating a pinch on the other team. You'll notice during pretty much this entire fight, they don't play together at all. This causes Aiden and Hound to panic a little, eventually resulting in one of them getting cracked. Peter and Pollo have them exactly where they want them. From here, they pinch them even more, resulting in the other team having to make a desperate play by running at them. And since they know this, Pollo easily takes down Hound and Peter with Aiden. This was a very textbook play from a tier 1 pro team, so if you have ever wondered how pros make fights look so easy and quick, it's all because of this right here. Now that we have a good understanding of how they fight in opens, how are they so good in finals against some of the best players in NA? Well, this is where that dash medallion really comes into play. Obviously when fighting it's useful, but not necessary, so it's really in those stacked lobbies where it gets the most use. Since you can stock up 3 dashes at a time and it infinitely regenerates, during almost every single rotation, they drop it to each other and use it to help them get ahead of the other teams. This also works really well when mixed with the fizz effect in order to get just that little bit further in. And once they get into moving zones, it really helps saving materials. But it's typically around the 2nd to 3rd moving zone where they make the game-winning play. They'll look up at height and either try to shoot them out or get some damage on them. Since height obviously gets distracted by this, Peter and Pollo use the fizz dash trick I just talked about to instantly get above the opposing team. And now that height knows that they have the dash coin, it's almost impossible for them to get it back. On top of this, since they save so many mats having the medallion, they already know they have the most out of any team in the lobby. From here, all they have to do is keep pressuring the teams underneath them, give whoever has the most HP all the whites, and then the other drops down and greets everyone else. These are the exact same steps they took every single game in order to win almost every single one in the finals. So in all, they pretty much look unstoppable. After learning a bit more about their playstyle, it's easy to see why they're so good together. But Peter wasn't done breaking records quite yet. I mentioned earlier how he's been dropping multiple 30+ kill wins in the Solo Victory Cup finals. Now this was very impressive, but all he wanted to do was break the world record he set before by being the first person ever to get over 40 eliminations. And in the first 2 Victory Cups this season, he was so close. The first one not so much with him getting a 29 kill win, but in the second one, he would get a 37 kill win and a 39 kill third, just barely slipping up at the end. So when the 3rd Victory Cup came around, it was time for him to once again make history.
They reload.
Nice.
2 HP. 30 build, 30 build. I'll build.
Top 20.
Peterbot broke the world record with a 41 kill win, and now it looks like he's going for 50. However, this will require more luck than skill to pull off. Overall, it looks like there's 0 shot Peterbot and Pollo don't win FNCS this season. Even if they end up getting contested in grands, we've seen how good they are at fighting, especially all spawn. And even if they do die off spawn, their win rate is almost 100% in finals. So with that all being said, that's why I think they'll win FNCS. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and check out my new map Tile Wars. I hope you all have an amazing rest of your days. Peace out.